Hey guys, this is Kris and you're watching Ready to Die Fighting. And today I want to talk to you about something that happened that was a little unnerving. So I was sitting down here in my basement, minding my own business. I was actually recording a video for you guys. That's what I was doing. The dog was outside playing in the backyard, as she often is when I'm doing things like this. And I heard this pounding, like this really loud pounding noise. And I'm like, that doesn't sound quite right. And so I run upstairs, try to figure out what's going on. And I always have my gun on me, so it was in my pocket. I turned the safety off, and at this point I've got it in my hand. You know, it's no longer in the pocket. And I noticed, I shouldn't say noticed, but it was clearly, there was a man on the porch, and he was kicking the door, and he was kicking it pretty hard. I don't think he was kicking it hard enough with the intention of breaking it and trying to get in, but he was definitely kicking the door. And so I go up to the door and I put one hand, on the door, my left hand on the door. I take my left foot and I, push it up against the bottom of the door to kind of support and brace it. Not so much that, if the door is going to break, that I'm going to keep it in, but, just giving a little extra support. And also that would just, I think, buy me a little bit more time. Even if it's fractions of seconds make a difference. Like I said, the other hand, I had the gun kind of ready to go. And it's this man who I've never seen before. He was older. I would say he was probably in his 60s, maybe even 70. He was an older guy, but he looked pretty fit. He didn't look necessarily sick or feeble or anything like that, but he was pretty gray, a lot of lines in his face and whatnot. Missing a lot of teeth. If I were to judge him, I would guess he may very well have been homeless. If not homeless, or possibly an addiction, maybe both. At the very least, he's been living a rough life. He looked like he's on some hard times, one way or another. Like I said, I don't know the guy. And here he was pounding on my door, kicking my door. And, I'm like, what do you want? Who is it? Something, I can't remember what exactly I said. Something along those lines. I think I just say, yeah, what? Meh. Not being particularly friendly or anything, because here you are kicking on my freaking door. And not selling Girl Scout cookies, I don't think. Not Jehovah's Witness sharing the good news. I'm like, what do you want? And he says that he wants me to pay him to clean up my yard. I'm like, okay, it's early spring, and admittedly, it's time to, rake up the dead grass, get dead leaves up, maybe, all that early spring cleaning type stuff you do before the flowers start blooming and you have to really start cutting grass and things like that. But, well, first off, I usually don't do that sort of thing until like closer to May, maybe end of April. So it's too early in my opinion. Secondly, I don't know this guy. So no, I don't know you, and you are very aggressively kicking my door. I don't think I would interpret any style of kicking my door as anything but aggressive. If you're knocking on my door with your, I don't mind that so much. That's not aggressive to me. Any form of kicking at a door, I'm taking that as an act of aggression or hostility. So there's mistrust here already. And I have hired people in the neighborhood to do work for me, shovel snow or rake leaves or whatever. I just hired, but that's something that I normally will allow. But this man's approach definitely put me off of that. And it's usually people who I recognize, or I've at least seen them around. A lot of times it's the same guy or same couple of kids who do it. And so I told him no, I was good. Didn't need that. And then he starts asking for money just for nothing. Like, I need $1. Like, okay, sorry, I got it. 50 cents. And he's kind of just basically demanding. And again, there's a lot of aggression with it. Maybe it was desperation perhaps, but I definitely interpret it as aggression. And I just kept saying, no, I don't have anything. I've got nothing. Sorry. Nope. And he eventually kind of gave up, but lingered around. And so I just stood watching him, and he just kind of hung out on my yard, walking around a little bit, and for, maybe a minute or so. And then he kind of went on his way. And I'll be honest, I wasn't all that shaken up by this or anything, because nothing happened. He didn't seem to actually be trying to hurt me. But it made me realize how grateful I was to have a gun. Even though that I didn't have to use it at all. I didn't even have to show it in any kind of way or anything like that. It occurred to me that if that man did decide that he wanted to break into the house, if he wanted to kick that door in, it's not the strongest door in the world. It's just a regular old door. It's actually an old door. Yeah, I mean, I know some martial arts, but how effective would that be against a guy who is bigger than me? And even if he's an older man, he's still a man. He's a man who, again, if I'm taking a guess here, he's probably been in a few fights before, He's probably has some more street experience than I do. I don't know that it'd be an easy fight. And even if it was, here's a strange person who's forced themselves into my house with what intentions? So even though I didn't have to use the gun, I liked having it. I didn't feel as helpless against this situation as I could have if I didn't have it. And also something I had heard or read or something like that is, sometimes people, if someone's kicking at the door, you pretend like you're not home. And that seems like a terrible idea to me. So you pretend like you're not home. You pretend like you don't hear it. Well, maybe they're testing, and I was like, oh, nobody's home, and now I am going to come in. Maybe me coming and showing up and kind of aggressively, what do you want? That was enough to make him change his plan. I really don't know what he was thinking. Maybe he's just an opportunist, and because I think a lot of people are. Like, maybe a lot of people don't just wake up in the morning thinking, I'm going to do this bad thing today. Maybe I think a lot of crimes are crimes of opportunity. Maybe that's just me being optimistic, but I think that's probably the more likely scenario. So not opening the door, not opening the door, I think would be a terrible idea. But not at least responding to the threat sounds like a terrible idea to me as well. And what made this a little bit difficult for me is it is in my nature to help others. It is my personal philosophy. Whenever someone asks me for money, doesn't matter if they're homeless, very often kids will come up to me in grocery stores or parking lots, gas stations, whatever, and say that they're raising money for their sports team to go to New York or something like that. And a lot of times I think that they're just lying. I think they are. They usually have like this cheap little piece of paper that like print out that just looks, the whole thing looks very suspect. But I typically give them money anyway. I don't care if they're going to buy something stupid with it. If they're selling candy bars or bottles of water, or sometimes just asking for money. It's like not even selling anything. My thought is that, especially if they're kids, there's worse things that they could be doing, right? They could be selling drugs, they could be fighting, they could be stealing cars, they could be doing all sorts of terrible things. And here they are at a grocery store raising money. Fine. Raising money. Fine. I don't care. Take it. I don't need it that much. A homeless person asking for money. Maybe they're not really homeless. Oh, they're just going to use it for drugs. You don't know that. You don't freaking know that. Why would you say that? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. So what? There's a lot of people who have jobs and they just use that money for drugs. Who cares? It's your money. Do what you want with it. Buy drugs, buy alcohol, buy food, buy groceries, buy tampons, buy video game. Who cares? Who cares? That's not my call. Once I give it to you, it's yours to do whatever you want at your discretion. I don't worry about it. Whenever a homeless person asks me for money, I go into my wallet, I grab the biggest bill, whatever it is. Thankfully, it hasn't been a $100 bill yet. And I just give it to them, and I don't give a shit what they do with it. I don't think about it again. I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to notice. I never do. Never, at no point in my life have I ever thought, oh, if only I hadn't given that $5 to that homeless guy, then everything would be fine. That's never happened. So I don't worry about it. But the fact that this guy was at my house, I would be far more reluctant. The fact that he was already showing signs of aggression, I don't know how stable he was. I am with the homeless. I know that mental health issues is the cause of a lot of homelessness. So I don't know how stable he is. I don't know what his mental condition is. Maybe he was on drugs. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he had bad intentions. Maybe he didn't. Like I said, maybe criminal of opportunity. Maybe he wasn't thinking to rob anybody. Maybe he was thinking, you know what, I'm just going to go ask for money. And then I open my door. He sees me. He can maybe see some of the things that I have just kind of looking to the house. And maybe that motivates him to try something worse. So even though it's my nature to want to help people, you got to keep yourself safe as well. And so I did not feel safe opening that door, no matter what. At that point, he could have said anything. I wasn't opening my door because he was already being aggressive. And I don't know if me opening the door would escalate things, or maybe he would take whatever little money I had and be happy and go on his business and have a great day. I just don't know, and I wasn't going to risk it. So I guess I just wanted to share that story. I don't know that there's any lesson necessarily. I guess my takeaway is it just really made me appreciate having a gun. Like I was really happy that I had that. And there's been a few times, I've been a gun owner for a few years now. And not many times, I've never had to use it at all outside of a shooting range. Never even kind of had to use it. But it has given me peace of mind more than once. You know, this isn't the first time something like this has happened where something was kind of suspect and I needed to address it, and having some sort of weapon, some sort of equalizer gave me the hope that I wasn't completely helpless. Like, I can defend myself. I can protect myself. And maybe at least I have a chance, you know, maybe this guy maybe he was armed too. And, maybe he could kick the door in and wrestle the gun away from me and kill me with it. That's entirely possible. It's also possible that I could shoot him as he's breaking through the door and he never even gets in. But without it, I think about what could have happened without it. Had he been more aggressive, what would I do? It was a strange man busting in through my door who maybe I can't beat in a fight. And my dog is in the backyard outside, can't help me out. I don't know. So I'm happy that I have it, is I guess the main takeaway. And don't open the door for strangers. Don't open the door for strangers. Don't pretend like you're not home. I think that's the takeaway. All right, so stay safe, everybody. Be smart. Best of luck. It's a scary world out there. Scary, dangerous world. Do what you can do to keep yourself safe. All right, have a good one, and catch you on the next video. Like and subscribe.